extractivism. You should take that home and use it at the dinner or the breakfast table in the morning. Speaking about extractivism and things, we do need to send the bucket around. And now, to be quite honest, we've had 3 good speakers here. If you go to the ordinary conference, that would cost you 25 to 50 quid or so. So we're not asking that, unless there's some disguised millionaires. And from looking at you, they're very well disguised. But if you're stuck for money, we all are. Just pass the bucket on. Don't worry about it. But we could do with. And if anyone has got a spare 250,000, we need it for next year's election. The GLA elections will be coming. You just pass on as it goes. Right? Yes, see, that's an idea. We'll have to get. I'll have to bring my machine in from the shop. And I'll take one more round of questions just while the bucket is going around, just to keep you sitting down. So I'll take 3 more questions. Don't worry, the bucket will be coming to you. 1, 2. You. Who's the 3rd one? The last one to ask a question tonight, and you. It would be nice to one to Jennifer as well. She's only had 1 question tonight. So right, we're first here, yeah.
Question for Jennifer.
Oh, good.
Going back to your editor, who didn't want poverty mentioned before the commercial break on News of 10. Obviously, that was during a time when the News of 10 platform had, well, just 1 rival or 2 rivals, if you take California News as well. How do you think, or do you think, that attitudes and the techniques for news gathering and imparting has changed as a result of the multi-platform now, where they have such, I mean, are they more hard-asked about it, or
that's a good question. I mean, it's got even worse. When I started covering legal affairs, for example, we would only cover a story if it was a legal decision that had implications. You know, it changed case law, it set a precedent. By the time I left, you only covered a legal case if there was a sexual crime or something particularly horrific. So it's gone from being, you know, information giving to entertainment giving. So yeah, and it's getting worse.
I think you were next one too. Yeah.
Is it a crazy idea that there could be a kind of sovereign bond issue that could only be bought by other states rather than private entities? So that at least if there was going to be, you know, any kind of problems in courts, at least it's going to be between states who, in theory, would recognise, you know, they could, or even might have been in the past, have been in those kind of difficulties. Yeah, I don't know if that's a sensible financial instrument, but it seems a kind of, if you're in the world of financial instruments, it seems like the kind of instrument that, if it could exist, if there were no barriers to it, it might actually prevent at least those vulture funds from their activities. Has anybody ever thought of that kind of idea in that world?
I think they have in the kind of anti-debt world. I think it relates quite closely to the question earlier about secondary debt markets. So my answer to that would probably be more or less the same. You know, secondary debt markets are essentially when you know, a country has a debt. So let's say Greece's debt, and then one company, usually a hedge fund or something like that, buys up that debt and then sells it on to another hedge fund for profit, who then sell it on for another hedge fund. And this is the secondary market. This is how it happens. So obviously the control, the original country who's selling the debt bonds don't know where it's going, and actually it can be a long chain. Yeah. So I think it really, you know, it comes back down to, it could come back down to, for example, how strong this UN legislation is going to be. I don't think it's going to be quite as strong as that, because they're all kind of, you know, there's so many World Trade Organization. This is what I was talking earlier about, the clash of different legislations and things like that. There's the Investor Disputes Commission and stuff. That in theory, yes, it could happen, but in practice, the whole entire infrastructure of international finance capitalism the odds are stacked against us at the moment from kind of developing a system that is that has that regulation. So we need to bring the whole system down.
Who was the third for you?
It's actually very similar to the first question you just got asked. In terms of like the future of broadcast journalism, and you have seen firsthand the difficulties in actually telling the news and the truth rather than stories. And I guess has a big implication to military, to reporting on military as well. The switch, I think, from like broadcast journalism to like topical dispatches and like Vice News, even like Russell Brand's The Truth and stuff like that, and how we're reporting in war zones now. Do you see this as being sort of like, is broadcast journalism in the current guise, how much longer do you see that lasting, or do you feel it will switch, or will we carry on to having more independent sort of dispatches?
Well, kind of, you know, we're really being hoisted by our own petard because we've stopped doing what we do best, and as a result we have citizen journalism, which is fantastic, but of course it's, you know, it's a bit like writing. Everyone thinks, oh, I can write, I write every day, therefore I can do it. Well, I can film something, but actually there are a whole load of ethics that go with it that aren't being observed, and truth goes even further out the window. So it's a very mixed blessing, I think. I don't know, I'd be interested in what you have to say on that.
Yeah, I think the genie's out. Genie's out. You know, the toothpaste is out of the tube. Try squeezing that back in. You know, everyone's got a mobile phone. Everyone's got a blog, Facebook, and all this. It's the way things are going, isn't it? I suppose it's changing from a situation where 20 years ago we were spoon-fed the news to one where we actively have to make more editorial decisions ourselves in terms of what we read and what we believe, and trying to back that up. I think it just puts the responsibility on us to do our own fact-checking, to try and research things as much as we can with the things that are put in front of us. But I don't think there's going to be any way back from that.
It opens up, you know, the floodgates for just pure prejudice. You know, that's the problem.
We have like confirmation bias, and we only read the stuff we want to read.
Exactly.
So we only get told what we want to hear.
It's scary, and you look at UKIP, and if you just want to believe what UKIP is saying, you can just believe what UKIP is saying, especially with the BBC giving them airtime almost every single day. Horrible.
Well, the Daily Mail has always been like that, even before citizen journalism.
That's true, and the Express,
You had your hand up there.
Yeah, I was just interested, Ben, I was wondering if you, maybe, and everyone, because it kind of concerns everyone, if you could maybe talk about blowback from surveillance and how that is going to come to be with GCHQ regulations at Everstone, and how that's affecting us all now.
Yeah, I mean, I was involved right at the start of all this in some way. When I was operating in Northern Ireland in the late 90s, we had automatic number plate readers, CCTV, you know, on a vast scale over there. And I always remember speaking to people saying, oh, what are we going to do with all this when this conflict's over? When I was in Iraq, we used to have we didn't have it, the Americans had it, a machine. This is how sophisticated it was 10 years ago, that you could store 10 phone numbers in, and you could trace these 10 mobile phones, and they had a plane flying around looking for these 10 mobiles, and you look how far it's come since then. But the problem is that we're all sort of like playing our own part in this, aren't we? You know, it's a sort of bargain. We've all got smartphones, log into all these accounts all over the place, and we're playing a part in the gathering of all this. I'm not sure what the answer is. You know, I don't think, a bit like your sort of question, I think it's really hard once this stuff's out there to put it back. So it's all about our own responsibility and how we deal with that. And just to make one point, you know, there's a lot of people who spend, a lot of activists I know, spend a lot of time and energy on trying to hide, you know, trying to use PGP on their emails and, you know, not go on Facebook and all this other stuff. I actually take a different extreme to that, where I'm just completely open. I basically accept, you know, some people don't like this, but I accept that everything I say has been recorded. I accept that every email I get is being read, and you know, that's kind of liberating in some way. You know, you just kind of accept it and get on with it and carry on with what you're doing. You know, don't be afraid. Yeah.
Right, I think we'll have to draw a hold now. We'll run out of time. There won't be time for drink. There isn't, unless a few of you bought a couple of bottles, there is not a huge amount out there. I think there's 2 bottles. The new members, the last new members party, or not party, event we had here, they consumed 8 bottles. there was about 80 people that and we've only got about 50 tonight. So, and this is our best. This has been our best speakers meeting. Actually, they're usually 20 to 40. So we've had over 50 tonight, and a 10-month-old got in early. So we've had all ages. So thanks very much for coming. There are some nibbles out there and some drink, and the speakers will be still around, so you can corner them or something. I'm not telling you to do that, but you can talk to them. They're all nice people. And, so thank you very much. The next month's speakers meeting is on the 23rd, and that'll be